Hey, my name is Matt, and welcome to Ranking Tactics. In this video, we're going to talk about all things SEO. This is going to be a really informative video. If you're looking to rank higher, I'm going to do a live site audit. In this video, you're going to see me pick apart a site and give actionable advice to grow an individual's business and get more leads and get more traffic, because that's what it's all about, getting more customers into your business and growing that revenue up. So this is a community Q&A series. Someone had asked this question to me, and I do have a queue of questions, and I'm just taking them in order as I receive them. If you have a question about growing your business, ranking higher in Google, drop it in the comments of one of my videos. Doesn't matter which one. I see all the comments. I try to respond to all the comments. And if it's something I can answer and turn into a video, I definitely will. So I encourage you to do that. So Frekhtman Associates, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, reached out to me about 9 days ago, and he said, cool video. I use Phrase and just got Writer's End. Could you do a video for a professional like an attorney who wants to rank for a keyword niche like construction accident lawyer New York, or similar keywords that you think are best? Thanks. Now, this is pretty interesting. There's some backstory here. So I'm actually a former intellectual property lawyer myself. Now, this is not an IP law firm. This is a personal injury law firm, but I'm a former IP lawyer. And a few years back, I made a lawyer directory. So the lawyer directory, if you want to look it up on archive.org, it's called respectedlawyers.com. It's going to look kind of janky because archive.org doesn't have the CSS right for a lot of sites. But you can get the main gist of it. When I created it, me, myself, and I probably should have brought in more people. I don't run it anymore, but this was something I dug up that's kind of cool. It's the badge that I was giving out. So I'd add these attorneys, these law firms to my website, and then I'd reach out to the law firms and say, hey, I just featured you in my directory. Here's a badge, show it off. And companies love PR. They love to say, oh, hey, we were just featured in such and such publication. And I mean, I'm not going to feature bad law firms or something like that, but this is a great way to get backlinks, because they'll then post something on their social media, or they'll put this badge on their website and say, hey, we're acknowledged by this particular company or this particular group or something like that. So it's a great way if you're creating a directory, or you just have a site that lends itself to handing out a badge. Maybe you review games, like video games, and you want to say, I'm picking this game as the action game of the year. You can do that. And then you can reach out to these gaming companies and say, hey, I just selected this game for game of the year. Here's the badge for 2022. If you want to, you can put it on your website. Or they might even tweet about it on social media. So that's a great way to get really free backlinks, and that's a free tip from me to you. So let's actually do a Google search. Let's start with the basics. I always start with the Google search because we're trying to rank on Google organically, so we got to see what Google wants. When we put in construction accident lawyer New York City, we get a bunch of stuff. And this is, you want to know why Google makes so much money? It's because the CPC, the cost per click for an ad for a lawyer in a big ticket market like New York or California or something can reach upwards of $600 per click. You need an asbestos lawyer, they're paying $600 a click for those things. Very, very lucrative niche, or a very expensive niche if you're a law firm trying to rank. So there is a lot of benefit to trying to organically rank if you're a law firm, because it can save you a lot of money. Unfortunately, though, you have to if you want to organically rank and you want to get those clicks, you have to get past this wall of advertisements and stuff. So you have the Google screen. Now, this is actually kind of new. This is one of the reasons I got out of the directory business. Number one, I started to see Google screen. It was actually called Google Verified at one point, and some of them are ads. So I don't know if they all are ads, but I think some people have to pay money to appear up here. I saw the writing on the wall, and I said, you know what? This is just one more thing to compete with. I'm not even going to bother. So you got to get past this if you're trying to rank organically, and then you got to get past the ads, and then you have to get past the local map pack. And if you want to rank in here, make sure your Google My Business account is good. You're getting those good reviews, and you're doing everything, checking all the right boxes to appear in here. And then finally, you get to the first organic result right here. And this is terrible if you're on mobile, because you got to scroll past all this stuff to rank organically. So I want to look at the domain authorities and see how competitive this is. Because what I've realized, and I've looked at probably 10,000 different law firm websites, they all don't have a high domain authority. They're usually around 25 or 35 or something like that. So like DA 33, DA 26, DA 33, 29, 11, 41, 32, 27, 59. Those are those are rankable with a new site. You don't need a lot of backlinks to beat those things. The site in question, Frekhtman Associates, they have a DA of 33. So there's no reason that they should not be ranking in the top spot, or at least on the first page, for this particular query. Now, a lot of local businesses, whether it's a plumber or whether it's an auto repair shop or whether it's a lawyer, will have multiple offices. They have an office that serves New York City, and they have an office that serves Brooklyn. They have an office that serves the Bronx. So what I want to do is I want to put this particular query in and see where they rank. And the site name is, so here's some free advertising for you, 866-ATTYLAW.com. If you need a lawyer, call Frekhtman Associates. Let's see where they rank. They are not on page 1. And they could be probably one of the best law firms in New York. I don't know, I don't think I've ever used a law firm before. But they're ranking on, well, not even on page 4. So this is definitely you could be a great business, but if you're not ranking, then nobody is going to use you. Where in the world are they? Go to page 7. Wowee. Okay. So construction accident lawyer, New York City. Right now they were ranking on page 10. They're buried at position 105 or something like that. They're not getting any clicks organically from this. Now let's look at Brooklyn construction, and there's no reason why. Like, look, a DA of 33. There's no reason they shouldn't be in the first position. Brooklyn construction injury lawyer. All right, 866 law, not there. Okay, they're on page 2 for that. That's not bad. Now, this stuff can change depending on where you put the city. I would always have the city last because very few people, like if I was looking for a construction injury lawyer, I would not put in Brooklyn construction injury lawyer. Some people do, but typically what I would do is I just put in construction injury lawyer. That's what most people do, and then Google knows, okay, they're looking for something local. But if somebody does search it, they usually put the city or the borough at the end. So, and this can lead to different results. In this instance, it did not. I think off camera, I did the New York City construction accident lawyer, and I searched for construction accident lawyer New York City, and there was like a 5-page difference. One was ranked on page 5, one was ranked on page 11. So there can be a significant difference depending on where you put this. Then we have the Bronx. Let's do the Bronx really quick and see where they show up. And I'd probably get different results if I was using a proxy in New York or something. Okay, so page 3. I think the statistics are, and I don't know if the statistics are for situations where you have the Google screened, the map pack, and the ads. That might even be less than. But I think only 2% of searchers even go to page 2. So they're probably not getting any traffic to this particular page, to all these different pages, because they're not on page 1. So how can we fix that? We should be able to fix that because their domain authority is right in line with everybody else. So unless there's some kind of shady backlinks going on, or there's a manual penalty going on, which I don't know about, they should be ranking on page 1. And I think this is where I want to take the video. I know the law firm asked if I could talk about what articles to write about. And I think that's kind of putting the cart before the horse, because you should be ranking for these main keywords. It makes no sense to write articles about scaffolding, accident attorney in the Bronx, because you need to be ranking for this stuff. This is where the money is right now. You're going to get much more people searching for this than you will for like scaffolding accidents or slip and falls at work or something like that. So we got to fix this stuff first. That's what this video is going to be about. So let's analyze each page. Oh, and I wanted to mention this too. So there's also this page, New York Construction Accident Lawyers. So you have these city pages, then you almost have like a state page. And I think I know why you did that. It's because up here, when you click on these particular things, these are taking you to a main page and not necessarily a city-specific page. So when we click on construction accidents, we come to this page here. But I think that's possibly causing you some cannibalization issues. I wouldn't have a generic page for a construction accident lawyer and then also a city page for a construction accident lawyer. I think you're going to get some cannibalization with that. How to fix this is up here, when you click on all these, I would have this link, and you could replicate this for all these other links. This take you to a city-specific page. Now you might be thinking, well, what page should this go to? They might be coming from the Bronx or something like that. You need to understand, first of all, nobody goes to your homepage. Nobody's clicking this menu up here. If they are, it should be a very small subset of the traffic to your website. No one clicks this. When people search for something, Bronx construction accident lawyer, this is not the homepage. They're not going to the homepage. This is not the homepage. This is not the homepage. This is not the homepage. You see these additional parts of the URL. No one's going to your homepage unless they're actually searching for Frekhtman Associates. And I don't think anybody's going to search for that unless they were directly referred by a family friend or something like that. People are just going to Google and putting in Bronx construction accident lawyer. So I think all of these pages should link to a city-specific page for this particular type of accident. Then you might be asking, well, then what do we do about the Brooklyn? And what do we do about the Bronx? Well, in my opinion, what you should do, and this is my as-is opinion, in the footer down here, you should say, we also serve the following locations: Bronx, Brooklyn, and then wherever else, whatever cities that you have your offices in. And when somebody clicks that, they're going to go to a landing page just for that particular city. And it's going to be like a personal injury landing page, because that's what you guys are. You're personal injury lawyers. And then on that landing page, you're going to say a couple different things. But before I get to that, I need to talk about something even more pressing at the moment. I need to talk about your technical SEO, your URL structure, because it's kind of messed up right now. And structure is really important. This is your structure right now for your website. And it's kind of just all over the place. You have stuff off your main page that's just linking to just articles. There's not really, there's some hierarchy here. Let's see here. There's construction accident lawyer. Now this is that main landing page for construction accident lawyers, but it's not tied to any particular city. And then it just goes off to just some random articles that are semi-related, like when construction accident lawsuit, which maybe people search for, but it doesn't belong off of this article right here. One of the reasons why your hierarchy is messed up is because when we look at the Bronx, look how this is structured. Your URL, your main domain, and then you have the / Bronx injury and then / construction accident lawyer. So you're trying to have your city right here. And then the same thing for Brooklyn, same thing. Brooklyn - injury and then construction accident lawyer. But then over here, you don't have that. For New York, you don't have New York City - injury / and then construction accident lawyer. Instead, you have it all in one URL. And Google can figure this out, but it's not doing you any favors. And for some search engines, and maybe even Google, is hurting you. You need to have a consistent structure to help the crawler understand how to crawl these pages. That could be a big reason why your ranking is suffering. You're going to have to really get in there and start 301ing stuff. I wouldn't have Brooklyn - injury. I would just have Brooklyn, because you want to indicate to the crawler that this is Brooklyn. So I would just have Brooklyn, New York City, Bronx, and then whatever areas you serve. That's how I would structure this. Now let's talk about the city-specific landing pages. So again, we click down here, and you can even have one for New York City too. I had to think about where to place that, but you could probably place that just up here. And again, nobody needs to visit it. This is for ranking purposes for Google. When you click practice areas, maybe that could just take you to practice areas for New York City, for instance. So that could be your New York City landing page. And then when you click down here in the Bronx or Brooklyn, then you get a landing page. And it's all for personal injury. The personal injury landing page for Brooklyn, personal injury lawyer. On that page, you need a consistent structure. So what I would do is, if you really want to, look at the competition. Go to the first page of Google and look at how they're structuring their article. And on this landing page for personal injury lawyers in Brooklyn, personal injury lawyers in New York City, personal injury lawyers in Bronx, you need a consistent set of H2s. And the H2s aren't going to have the exact same text in them, but they're going to have the same themes in those H2s. So the first H2 could be, it's important to hire an attorney when you have a personal injury. Here's the reasons why you need to hire an attorney. Here's what you can go wrong if you try to go it alone, or you just try to settle with your insurance company or with the company's insurance company. And then you could drop in different statistics about personal injury facts in that particular city. To be a legitimate city page, you got to do a couple things, and one of those is calling out specific things about that city. So maybe, or that borough, maybe that particular location has these particular interesting features in it. In New York City, there's a lot of high rises. Maybe they're having a lot of slip and falls in these buildings. You could talk about some stats like that. Try to get really specific about that particular city, and that's going to help you rank. And then you could talk about the different types of accidents in that particular city. You could say, okay, here are 10 to 20 of the different types of construction accidents or fire accidents or nursing home accidents, taxi accidents. So you'd have a list of all those things. And those would be hyperlinks to a city-specific page about that particular accident. After that page 2, you can then have the different types of injuries somebody can suffer. Here is the different types of injuries you could suffer. You could get a TBI, you could get a broken bone, you can get all these different things from any of the accidents. So you have a laundry list of those, and there's hyperlinks for some of them, and those won't take you to a city-specific page for that particular injury. Instead, it will take you to like a general page. So maybe you want like another section or category called injuries, and this could be like broken bones, broken bones. You don't need a city-specific page for that because no one is necessarily going to say broken bone lawyer, New York City. They don't really search that. So you don't need to spend all the time to make city-specific pages for those. You can just have a general page. So on your New York City personal injury lawyer page, landing page, on your Bronx personal injury landing page, on your Brooklyn personal injury landing page, all of them will have a link to like broken bone injuries. And it will take you to the same URL, the same page right here, because it doesn't need to be city specific. But all of the accidents, the construction site accidents, the slip and falls, the dog bite, all of those things are going to be city specific pages. Hope that makes sense. Now, on your city-specific accident pages, New York City construction accident lawyer. Okay, this is the money page. This is the page you're trying to rank for. Or New York City, let's pick a different thing, car accident lawyer page. Or New York City medical malpractice page. Or all these different things. New York City emergency room error page. You need a consistent structure. And what I'm talking about the H2s, just like we did for the city-specific landing pages. You need that for the city-specific accident pages too. And an example structure, so just an example, is like the first heading here could be like why first H2. Why should a little intro? Then why should you hire a New York City construction accident lawyer if you're hurt on the job? Why should you do that? Because somebody coming here, they might not know if they need to hire an attorney. Like they're getting a big fat check possibly from the insurance company. Why even hire an attorney? They'll get the check tomorrow versus hiring you, and it could take months in court. They got to take off work to go to court. Why should they do that? So, why hire a New York City construction accident lawyer? Then you need a section about the construction injury in New York. What's interesting about the construction injury in New York? What are some stats? What are some figures? What are some facts about that are specific not only to construction injury, but also to New York City? And some specific details about the area, some like name, some different locations, some different monuments or some different things, some different themes or items that are specific to New York City, that are specific to the Bronx, specific to whatever your landing page city is targeted at. Then you want to have a section probably about the common causes of construction accidents. What are some different causes of construction accidents? In some of these pages, you could be struck by an object. You get caught under or in between an object, electrocution, falls. Those are, and you do a little bit of that here, but there's no consistency amongst your different landing pages. Like, and this is kind of what I was getting at, like what steps should I take after a construction site accident? All right, let's see, this is Brooklyn now. That was New York City. So here's Brooklyn. The rights, that's it. There's nothing about like what steps you should take. I don't think this is a good heading to incorporate into each article. But this heading's not in each article. And so if you had a heading, if you decided, okay, what does a reader looking for construction accident help need? And you decided, okay, he needs to know about like the different types of injuries from construction accidents, or that would help me rank. Put that in here. What are some of the different types of injuries from a construction accident question mark. And then you'd have that same heading here, but phrased differently. 5 common types of construction accident injuries. And you go to the Bronx. Ways you can get injured on a construction site. You don't want to copy and paste what you have and put it over here and put it over here. You don't want that. You want unique text, but you don't have to make it completely unique. Keep the same theme, just find different synonyms. Find some city-specific things, some city-specific features, and that will definitely help you rank. And as you're making that list, you also probably want to say in the beginning of it, like, our lawyers are experienced and can help victims of construction site accidents who have suffered, and then you'd have your TBI, spinal cord injuries, catastrophic injuries, burn injuries, amputations, all that stuff. You'd have your laundry list down here. And all of those things can then be hyperlinks back to that injuries-broken bones, or that injuries-TBI. Only list the big ones and list them in an order of the number of people that suffer them. So if nobody suffers getting hit by a fly baseball, don't put that in there. Then you might want to section another H2 about who might be able to recover from a construction accident. Who's eligible? There's specific rules that are unique to New York about maybe there's bargaining agreements. Like if you have a particular bargaining agreement, you're not able to do that. The next thing that you might want to have in your article is who might be able to recover. Can only employees recover? Can contractors recover? Are there specific laws that are unique to New York City or to the Bronx or to Brooklyn? Are there bargaining agreements that could come into play? You can talk about that specific stuff, flesh that out for the reader, but also for Google and be more relevant in Google's eyes. Then you want to say, like, time is limited in filing a claim. There's a statute of limitations. You got to act fast. Your time to file could be running out. Call us now, and then you could transition into that free case evaluation. Or you could even talk about, like, the types of damages available. Like, what could you even recover? Can you recover money? Can you recover lost wages? What are the different things you can recover? And then, hey, we can give you a free case evaluation. Here's our CTA. And then at the very, very bottom of the article, I would probably list some links to ways that you're involved in the community. If you have some different community things, like you're doing something specific in New York City, maybe you're volunteering at a local Little League, or maybe you're donating some of your time every month to a local food bank in New York City or in the Bronx or something like that. Have that city-specific stuff in. If you do those things, I think you have a really good shot at ranking. I hope you're following along. Have those headings in each of these city pages, but don't copy paste them, reword them, rephrase them, and then obviously find that stuff that's specific to New York City, put that in the New York City page. Find the stuff that's specific to the Bronx, the local culture, the local buildings, the local people, anything you can get that Google might know about that's local, and bring that in to your city-specific pages. Now, the other thing I would do is use the proper linking in your article. Up here, the links at the top of the page, not in your header, outside of the header, but the first links in your page are usually given more weight. They pass more, quote unquote, juice, so to speak, link juice, to wherever it's linking to. And I would not have these things first. Intent of the law in New York City. All right. Are you really trying to rank for intent of the law in New York City? I haven't searched this, but I don't think anybody's searching that. So why are you giving such prominence to this particular link up here? Worksite amputation hazards. I don't think people are searching for worksite amputation hazards. Maybe I guess companies would be, but a worker that has lost their hand or something like that is not going to necessarily be searching for hazards. They're going to be looking for an attorney. So a lot of the choices for these particular links up here don't make a lot of sense to me. And then your contact us, get legal help, all this stuff, it needs to be at the bottom of your page. If you insist on having it near the top, what you can do is you can wrap this in an HTML div, and then wrap the rest of your article in an HTML div, and then put this physically below, but then use CSS to set the order and move it above visually. So in Google's eyes, it's at the very end of the article, but in the reader's eyes, it's at the top. Is that black hat? I don't know. Maybe a little bit. But that's what I would do if you absolutely must have these links up here. But I do not recommend having these links up here. And then you have, your site is just so full of links here. Let's talk about some of them. everyday construction workers go to work in the morning. So the very first link goes to this page. I mean, what is this page? I don't understand it. No one's going to be searching for this page. There's going to be no organic traffic to this page. No one's going to go to Google and type in New York City construction accident lawyers discuss demolition work. No one's going to put that. So why is that a link? You don't need to link to that page. I mean, you should probably have it somewhere, maybe in a category page or something like that, but you should not be giving link juice to that particular page. It doesn't make any sense to me. And then you're linking to it again. So it's linked up here discussing demolition work. And if you can see all the way down in the little URL bar, well, I can just open the tab up. It's going to the same page. So you're linking to it twice. I don't understand. You shouldn't be doing that. There's a lot of weird stuff like that. So your internal linking needs to be fixed, so to speak. And this is like, there's not a lot of links here. I looked at this city-specific page for New York City, and it wasn't bad. But I wouldn't expend resources linking to this stuff. I would have your first links be your links to the actual types of injuries or something like that. And actually, the very first link I would have in your article, and you don't have this, is your home, and then we would be New York City, and then a / and then construction accident lawyer, where you are right here, and they can click back and go back to New York City accident lawyers or New York City personal injury lawyers or something like that. You need that breadcrumb trail, and that's gonna be the first link that they see outside of the header, and that's gonna pass the most amount of link juice because you really kind of want to be ranking for that New York City personal injury. That needs to be your very first link. And then down here, be very picky and choosy with your links on these particular pages. I would just be linking back to the different types of injuries. Now, some other technical and on-page things that you really need to address is on these pages, on the city pages, I don't see your address anywhere. Like, there's no address on here. It's just not here. That needs to be, you need to fix that ASAP. You also need a map to this particular office. So on your New York City pages, whether it's your New York City landing page or whether it's your New York City construction accident lawyer page, in the sidebar, you need to have that link to with the map on it. And then I didn't check on mobile. Let's check really quick if your sidebar gets moved down below. It does. Good. Okay, so you want your map to still display on mobile, so it's still there on mobile. That's good. Now, this is one last thing I want to mention in regards to SEO, and this is a big deal. There's a rich results tester to look for the schema. You guys are using schema in the HTML. I checked that. So you are using schema, but your schema's wrong. So this is the schema for, where'd the page go? View tested page. Why can't it show the page? All right, this is for the Bronx construction accident lawyer page. And if we actually scroll down to address, your address is Brooklyn. All right, but you have in the Bronx, your office is Bronx, there we go. 20 East 205 Street. You have the wrong address in here. You need to change that. It should be, I don't know what you're using for your schema. I forget what, does it show the plugin that you're using? Yoast. You should just be able to go into Yoast and change that on a page specific basis. But right now, your Bronx stuff is pointing to Brooklyn. And that's probably a huge reason why you're not ranking for some of these different things. A couple other just observations, trying to give you as much value as I can right now. Don't take offense to this, your name is not memorable. It definitely sounds lawyerish, Frekhtman Associates, but it's not memorable. I'm not going to remember that name. It gets lost in the sea of Union Law Firm, Go Law, Gare, MS Legal, Platt Law. I can't remember this any more than I can remember those things. And your domain is also not necessarily memorable. Some tips on maybe what you could do. Maybe you could have like a catchphrase or something like that. So Frekhtman and Associates, the hometown lawyers, and then you use that slogan everywhere and you sell it up and you're on TV with the hometown lawyers or something. You got to get that slogan or that catchy thing out there and people using it. The other thing is, and this is more of a hard sell, you could change your domain name to something a little bit more memorable. These are always hard because attorney, when you say like 866 attorney law, well, it's not actually attorney, it's ATTY. So changing a domain name is a big thing. You really have to redirect everything. So that can be a lot of work. But I don't have any use for respectedlawyers.com. If you want to buy that from me, hey, send me a message. The other thing is social media. It's good that you're on social media, and I went to your Facebook and I went to Twitter, and I'll do this when I'll go to a business like, okay, I'm going to pick a dentist. I'll go to their social media to see who they are. Are they a bunch of crazy people? Are they still in business? Are they still alive? And I think you're definitely checking the box of we are alive and we're doing stuff. You do lots of podcasts, and I'll talk about that in a minute. But I would maybe consider how you're using social media and use it a little bit differently. I'm not seeing a lot of interaction. So maybe you could hire a social media consultant and get some advice. Social media is great for community engagement and stuff like that, and people aren't necessarily engaged by this. Spy your competitors, see what they're doing. Maybe some law firms are doing specific things. Some specific examples would be, hey, we're going to go to a food bank, or hey, we're coaching a little league team, or we're sponsoring this high school basketball team. And you post stuff like that. Maybe once a month you're doing something like that where the community's getting involved, or you take a poll. You could put a poll out there. How many people have been in a weird car accident in their life? Share your story or something like that. Get that involvement, that engagement. And that's a great way to really use social media and get more people liking your page and following your page. Same goes for Twitter. The other thing I want to mention is I don't see you in the news a lot. Put that in the news. All right, so I don't really see you in the news. This is from 2020. But when I go and I put another firm in like this, and we go to news, there's like there's 5,000 news articles by them or featuring them or something like that. So they're constantly in the news, and that can definitely help with your rankings. I would spy on the competitors, take the top 10 SERP and see what they're doing. You don't do this in Phrase, don't do this in Writer's End, just do it in Google and see where they're appearing. Why are they appearing in the Jewish Journal? Do they have Jewish attorneys there? Okay. Is that a way that you could then also get featured in there? They're on Newswire. Why are they being featured here? So again, I'd get your name out there more in the news. And then finally, you're doing a lot of podcasts, and your podcasts look awesome. I mean, you're doing a phenomenal job. I don't see anybody else that's doing such a great job with podcasts as you are. But I just wonder how much time you're putting into them. How much is going into this stuff, and how much is it actually helping? I can't imagine you're getting a lot of organic traffic from this. Like, no one's going to search. A lot of people probably aren't searching this. So I would probably reassess the value, the return that you're getting from all the effort put into this. If you like doing it, I would still do it. But maybe, I don't know if having it necessarily on your website is useful unless you are getting a lot of traffic that I don't know about. So in my opinion, I think once you address these things, then it's worth your time writing new articles. Once you fix these things, then you could probably write new articles about some construction accidents or whatnot in a particular city. You can even have like a little news section right here. Like, we go up here, New York City construction accident lawyers, off in the side, again, because links that you have on the page are valuable. And so you want the less valuable links to appear near the bottom. You could have like recent construction accident news or something like that. Here's a particular lawsuit that we won for a construction accident in New York City. Or you can target things that people are actually searching. You can write about that. And these links could be for New York City, or they could be just like we were doing for the actual types of injuries, broken bones. Maybe you could have like a news section or blog section, like a blog. And you go to Phrase and you figure out what terms people are ranking for in the optimized section, such as like broken bones. And then you'd go to Writer's End and you put in like broken bones and then lawyer. And you'd find some long tails to possibly write about. And then you would write about those, optimize it in Phrase, and then put it in your blog section for Broken Bones. And you can use it in this section here, but you'd use it here and then also use it in all the other types of articles. So you don't have to necessarily do city-specific articles. I hope this helped. I hope everything I said helped. I hope you got value out of it. I didn't talk about phrase or writer's end to do keyword searching, but I think I'd do you a disservice if I didn't explain this first and help you get this fixed first. I think you have a lot of potential here. You have a great law firm, and you're doing really good work here. Just need some tweaking, and you'll be ranking in page 1 hopefully really soon. If you have any questions about anything, creating content, using SEO, using AI to write and to rank, drop them in the comments below. I can try my best to answer them, and if it is an interesting question and I can provide value to a lot of people, I'll make a video about it. As always, please like this video, please subscribe. This channel is for you, and I hope we can all enjoy it. Until next time, good luck and goodbye.